Welcome back to Rock Your Best Vocals. Jim Chandler here. We're going to listen to Michael Jackson, Smooth Criminal, isolated vocals today and try to see if we can get a little bit more insight into what he's actually doing with his voice. I love isolated vocals because it gives us an opportunity to really hear what's going on behind all of the music and everything like that, which when we listen to songs with the music behind it, our minds can trick us into thinking that the singer is singing either more powerfully or weaker or whatever. It just tricks us a lot. And also with the studio effects and things like that go on there, it can really trick us into thinking that something's going on that's not. So let's have a listen here into this isolated vocal track, and we're going to just see if we can break down what Michael's doing with his technique a little bit more so we can maybe understand how we can work on things that will help us to sing a little bit more like the legend, the king of pop. Okay, so let's listen. Okay, straight away into the... So he's got it's a lot of back pressure. Bow! Bow! Okay, so I'm just kind of... Bow! I'm just punching it out there. A lot of back pressure. Hup! Bow! So you have to stop the breath from leaking out because you can't just blow out a bunch of air. Let's move on.
As I came into the window was the sound of a crescendo. He came into our apartment.
He's got, see, that's that back pressure. So, and also the other thing that he's doing there, and you can really listen to this.
As I came into the window.
It just comes out. A lot of back pressure in the vocals. There's something else that he's doing there I'll get into, but let's listen to the amount of pressure that he's putting behind this.
Was the sound of a crescendo. He came into our apartment.
He came into our apartment. You hear that? He came into our apartment. You can hear there's a lot of pressure going on there. There's a lot of compression. So if you don't understand compression and support and everything that goes into support, then you'll never get anywhere close to this, because the number one thing that he's doing in all of his vocals is he has incredible support. If you want to understand a bit more about support, I have a free course linked down below in the description and the pinned comment that you could take for free. And it's a very short course that just gives you exercises that you can do. It explains all of the components of support and gives you exercises that you can do to strengthen all of these areas. But let's move on.
Days on the carpet. She went underneath the table. He could see she was a neighbor.
Let's listen to that part.
A crescendo. He came into her apartment.
He came into her apartment. He came into her apartment. So it sounds like he's really pushing a lot, really forcing a lot. But the key to what he's doing here, and I'm going to get into that in a second, but the key to what he is doing here is so vital. I see this a lot in my students, and it's helped to fix a lot of people's vocals in terms of their ability to sing higher, to sing more powerfully, and I'll get into that in just a second here.
The blood stains on the carpet. She went underneath the table. He could see she was a neighbor.
He could see she was a neighbor. That's so great.
So she ran into the bedroom. She was struck down. It was her doom.
Can you hear? You can hear the stomping, and this is something that all of the producers that he ever worked with, he always mentioned: don't take out all of the breathing and the stomping and all that, the background noise. He wanted all of that in there because Michael Jackson was a walking, talking, living, breathing instrument. Everything that he did was all about music. I mean, just the way he moved in life, and he was the instrument. So let's listen back to those stomps.
She went underneath the table. He could see she was a neighbor. So she ran into the bedroom. She was struck down. It was her doom.
You can hear him. You can hear, I think, some...
She went underneath the table. He could see she was a neighbor.
You can hear snaps in there. In the back. Listen.
So she ran into the bedroom.
Listen.
He came into her apartment. He left the blood stains on the carpet. She went underneath the table. He could see she was a neighbor. So she ran into the bedroom. She was struck down. It was her doom.
She was struck down. It was her doom. So it was down, it was her doom. So all of this breathing. What does that do? So try to do this along with me. She was struck down, I'm unable. There's a reason behind all those scats and things that he's doing. And if you do that along with me, try that yourself now. As he do about there, okay, so when you're doing that, what happens to your body when you're doing that? Very important. So if you said that, yeah, you could feel your core engaged, your diaphragm kind of bouncing, and you can feel you have to really breathe in before you say the next line. You know, because you otherwise you're out of the breath that you needed. You know, so you feel like that. And one of the things that one of my students brought this up to me is that he hadn't done any live performances on, before our second vocal lesson. But on the first one, he was like, well, I have to do these songs with this band and we have to perform live. And, I'm a bit nervous because I haven't sung Best of You all the way through. So we worked together. He sang it all the way through, just with some of the things that I'm talking about here. We just worked through it. And then after he did the gig, he said, you know what? I learned some things in that gig that I would have never learned if I hadn't done the gig. So that's one of the most important things, is that when you're doing a performance, you have to go all the way through the whole performance. And you won't understand the feeling of having to get through an entire song unless you force yourself to get through an entire song. It helps if you're live, because part of what I'm doing here, you have to breathe in. So there's all this breathing, and you're out of breath. You're either running around the place or banging your head or whatever you're doing, but you have to really get that breath in. I have to get that breath in. So I got, see, and what that does is sets up your body to naturally make a noise. So the reaction and the action of your body in singing is so important. That breath in, and then so anyway, let's move on because I'm digressing.
Are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?
Okay, so if you listen to that part there, he gets really aggressive there, right? So, but if you think you can just push that out, you're going to end up blowing out too much air. So what do we have to do? We have to hold back the air. That's the secret.
Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?
Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? So, and you have to, but we're holding back the air. It seems really contradictory because it sounds like Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? So it sounds like he's really pushing it out there. But if we're not holding it back, Annie, you okay? Are you okay, Annie? And it helps to think of like, so you gotta have a nasal resonance. Annie, you okay? Are you okay, Annie? You can hear that nasal resonance that he's pumping through his nose. Are you okay? Let's listen.
Annie, are you okay? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?
Are you okay, Annie? Are you okay? Are you okay? You ever have to close down that? Are you okay, Annie? So let's move on, because I think that's. I've been beating that dead horse.
Will you tell us that you're okay? That a sign at the window that he stuck you. I can send Annie. He come into your apartment.
You can hear the snaps in the background, and they've got the.
Stays on the carpet, and then you ran into the bedroom. You were struck down. It was your doom.
Then you ran into the bedroom. It was struck down. It was your doom. Really light. Listen to how light that is. As opposed to the other parts.
He come into your apartment. Now the blood stays
On the carpet. Now listen to the lower
You were
vocals.
stuck outside of the window, then he stuck you. I got Shindo ready. He come into your apartment, left the blood stains on the carpet. And then you ran into the bedroom. You were stuck.
And then you ran into the bedroom. And then you ran into the bedroom. You were struck down. Okay, so you can get a little bit more.
It was then he stuck you. I got Shindo ready. He come into your apartment, left the blood stains
On the carpet.
and then you ran into the bedroom.
When you feel it. And the blood stains on the carpet. So feeling. Oh, feel that in your body if you do that. And you ran into the bedroom. It was stuck. Okay, move on.
You were stuck down. It was your doom. Annie, are you okay?
Annie, you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, you okay? Say, Annie, you okay?
Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So
Annie, you okay? Are you okay, Annie?
you've been hit by a smooth criminal.
You've been hit by a smooth criminal. If you just think about holding back the air, you've been hit by you almost if I'm not breathing any air out, almost like like kind of you talk like you got a cold. You've been hit by a smooth criminal. A smooth criminal. Not pushing a lot of air, not forcing a lot of air out of my body. It's very important.
Mathematical resuscitation, sounding heartbeats, intimidations.
Sounding heartbeats, intimidation. You listen to the enunciations. Very good. Amazing. Listen.
By a smooth criminal.
Listen to this scatting. It's incredible. It sounds like it almost sounds like he's like sucking in. Yeah, like that noise there.
So they came into the outway.
Wow, amazing. So if you get that sound, you can even if you allow that nasal resonance, it can allow you to get higher because you're and that's really quite. You can't hear it on this, but it's very loud in here. Like the guitars back there are ringing, the resonant frequency. Okay, so moving on. And that's like all in there. That's the isolated vocal. Like that's, and he never wanted that taken out because he's the instrument. I mean, he's like,
criminal. So they came into the outway. It was Sunday. What a black day. Mathematical resuscitation, sounding heartbeats, intimidations.
sounding heartbeats, intimidate. So if you try to do that, really, without pushing a lot of air out, with the heartbeats, intimidation. You feel how when you're not pushing a lot of air out, you're just with the heartbeats, intimidation. But you have to have that support underneath that. You can't just, see, that's where that compression comes in, to where you're kind of forcing the air up from the bottom, but you're stopping the air from coming out here. It's a really strange feeling, but that's why it takes some time to work with all these muscles to coordinate them so they're working together.
Annie, are you
But trust me, it's worth it.
okay? So Annie, are you okay?
And especially because it's free. Click the link down below. You won't be disappointed.
Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Annie, are you Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you Annie, are you okay?
I love that calling it. And you woke, and yo. Brilliant. So amazing.
Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay?
Annie.
So, Annie, are you okay?
You can hear that at the beginning. Annie, are you okay? In that, Annie, are you okay?
Are you okay?
If you went, Annie, are you okay? Listen to it.
Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So, Annie, are you okay?
Annie, are you okay? You can, Annie, are you okay? Now, maybe that doesn't sound exactly like that, but it's the vibe.
Annie,
So let's,
are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you Annie, are you okay? Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, are you okay? So, Annie, are you okay?
Annie, are you okay? You can, Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? There's a little bit.
Okay, Annie. Annie, are you
Annie!
Will you tell
If you
us?
get, so again, if you think, you okay, Annie? Annie? It's kind of hard for me to jump up to that bit. Unless I'm thinking, Annie, you okay? Are you okay, Annie? If I allow a little bit of that, nasal resonance, tight, close your leg, like this. Are you okay, Annie? I can get up there a little bit. It's
You okay? At the sign of the window that he stuck you. I can send you Annie. He came into your apartment. Let the blood stains
on the carpet.
And then you ran into the bedroom. You were struck down. It was your doom. Annie, are you okay?
That's amazing. So you hear all those scats and those breaths and everything, and there is the guy who recorded Remember the Time, Dave May, commented on the fact that Michael Jackson was like perfection, right? He would go through and he would record the lines, and all of the breaths, everything would be in time. Like he'd be right in the pocket. He'd get everything like right on pitch. All of the breaths were like exactly the same. I mean, Michael worked at that level of perfection because, I mean, he was doing it his entire life. So when you have something like that, you do your entire life, it's just part of you. It's just like it. I mean, I don't know if anybody else on this earth will ever match that level of talent, because he just worked at it his whole life, and he was like, he lived, eat, breathed, slept, everything, music and singing and just being the king of pop. It's amazing. Let's listen to
Annie,
him.
are you okay? Ow! Chugga, 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 chugga.
Listen to that. Shaka chaka, chaka chaka. It's just so, it's part of the music. It's part of the song. All these little, just little treasures. Oh, beautiful. Love those little treasures that are in there. You know, when we get these isolated tracks. And I'll put the link down below to this so you can listen all the way through and just absorb all of these brilliant sounds without me yabbing over it. If you listen to that, it's very, I don't know, very up in the nasal. I don't know, kind of that whiny, kind of the cry sound. I don't know. Ooh, now that's hard to get up to. That's I'm gonna. That bone it, baby. That bone it, baby. Let's try. Yawn it. That bone it, baby. Working in that. That bone it, baby. Close. Let's listen to that. Okay. I concentrated on holding the air back. You see how like you can forget a lot of these things, but because you listen to that and you feel like he's pushing that all out. No. We have to hold back a little bit. Are you born it, baby? Working into it. Are you born it, baby? So, I mean, he's just the king of pop. Oh, listen to that. Oh, more with the stomping, all the, listen. How in the, how, that is, oh, listen to that. Oh, wow. I love so much to listen to the power in Michael Jackson's voice, the power and the range and everything that he's doing is just, I mean, it's incredible. I'm just blown away by listening to all the sounds and everything he's doing, and the stomps and the kicks and the snaps and the, I mean, I don't know how he's doing those in and out. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks very much. Rock your best vocals where your best keeps getting better. See you on the next one.